Let's do this.
To your latest on-demand session. In this one we'll be looking at creating displacement maps and using them in graphic design using Photoshop and Photopea. You should all have access to this Google Slides document, which will give you a step-by-step guide. Keep hold of this in your records. You can use it anytime. So let's start with Photoshop. So we use displacement maps to blend our graphics into a textured background. This is great for creating mock-ups in graphic design, so it's a really good thing to learn. So here we've opened up our textured background. What we need to do next is convert that to a grayscale version. Okay, so if you go right down here, you've got this circle, bottom right hand corner, with a stripe through it. It's sort of half black, half white. That's create new fill. Okay, so with this we are then going to select hue and saturation. Okay, now I'm going to take the saturation down all the way to create a grayscale version of this image, and then I'm going to save that as a PSD Photoshop file, grayscale. Okay. Okay, now I need to open up the original again. We can close the grayscale one. So we've got our blanket layer here. Always remember to rename your layers. And then we're going to add our text. Go. Remember, Control-0 centers everything. So that's what we're going to go with. What you need to do next is convert your text into a smart object. So if you right click on the actual layer, it'll come up with another drop down list of items and select convert to smart object. Okay. Now to form the text around the background image, we need to apply the displacement filter. Okay, so if we go over here to filter and go to distort and click displace, leave these settings because they're the standard settings, but I'm going to change these to 20 and click OK, and then you have to open up the grayscale version of the image that you created, the PSD version, and that will map your image around all the dark highlights and lowlights of the background. It's a little bit like 3D mapping really. So once you've got that, to get it more realistic, you need to change your blending. At the moment it's on normal. If you look down here where the layers are, we need to change that to overlay, and you can see it starts looking like it's printed on that cloth. One other thing I would do, some of these edges are a little bit sharp, so I would probably add a Gaussian blur to that. So go to blur, filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and just soften those edges a little bit. 1.9 is about right, even less actually might work. And there you have your displaced image. The same thing can be done in Photopea. We'll just have a quick look at that. Okay, so you have your background image in Photopea. Now with Photopea you do not need to create the grayscale version of the image, so it's actually quicker steps in Photopea. What you need to do after you've got your background image is write your text. Let's put that right about there, and you need to convert both layers, background and the text, into smart objects. Okay, and then you go up to Filter, Distort, Displace. Oops, you need to select the text first, which I didn't do there. And then select the background for it to displace to on there. Click OK. As you can see, it's quite sharp again. So what you can do is change the layers, opacity, and change this to overlay again. Go back to your filter, blur, Gaussian blur. There you go. I'll show you one more example in Photoshop. So we've got this stone wall. So I need to create a grayscale version of this. I go to Hue Saturation down here. Get rid of the saturation. Save that as a Photoshop stone wall grey, so I don't mix it up with the original. Looks like I've already done that. Okay, now open up the coloured version again. There we go, we can close that one. And I'm also going to open up a PNG. These files are available to you. I'm going to copy and paste this. It's already on a transparent background. I'm going to copy it and paste it into the wall. And I will probably enlarge that a little bit. There we go. Now, before I blend this into the background, to make it more realistic, I'll get rid of some of this jet black, 100% black, from the images. If you think cave paintings are aged over time and were probably drawn with either blood or vegetable matter, they wouldn't be this crisp. So what I have done is use the Magic Wand tool, selected one part, then go to select, and then choose similar. It should give you the whole lot. Now what I'm going to do is go to my colour palette here, and I'm going to choose a kind of auburn, sort of more reddish colour, and then I will go to my paintbrush and maybe choose a bigger one and a softer brush. I could probably go even bigger. That's it. It's quite nice. Then you can deselect. Now we would like to displace that, so convert that to a smart object. Go to Filter, Distort, Displace. Keep that on 20. Choose the grey version. And that blends nicely into the background. Again, we will change this, the layer to overlay. Gives you that aged effect. Now feel free to have a go. All the images are available to you, the sample images, and why not try on a different textured background. You could do it on Hessian bags, you could do it on t-shirts, try some of your own designs, and let's see what you can come up with.